Welcome to Uncommon Grounds Podcast with Director Hitman. This is episode number 5. And today, our topic is the differences of being raised in a single parent home to having both your parents. This is a deep topic for me. I'll be honest with you guys. My whole life, I was raised with my mother. I knew of my dad. I remember my dad being in my life as a child. Like I'm talking about child. And I don't remember anything as if we were hanging out and stuff like that. I remember visiting him in his wife's house a few times in my life, right? Um, I'm originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I just remember growing up wishing that, I had both my parents in the house. Now, most people may think there's no differences. No, there's a lot of differences. And I'm just going to tell you guys from my perspective, my life. Everybody's life is different. Everybody goes through different things. But as me being a man raised by a woman, my mom's the best mom in the world. She busted her ass. She tried her best. No support, no help. Just a young black woman out there trying to do what she had to do back in times where it wasn't too easy, right? And I just always think to myself, what would my life have been like with my father? It could have been worse. It could have been better. But I'll never know that. Um, I didn't really have a relationship with my father, from being a little kid that I told you I remember to all the way. I think I saw him again next when I was 14. I just started high school. And I had moved back to Allentown. I had just moved back to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, because I was living in Allentown, Pennsylvania with my mom. And I was starting to act up. I was starting to run the streets, and she thought it'd be best if I went back to Harrisburg to live with my sisters, who lived in our house that we had moved from Harrisburg to come to Allentown. My sisters are a lot older than me. So I went down, and as I was living with my sisters, everything was fine. And I remember one day, my dad, I don't remember how we got reacquainted in Harrisburg. I don't remember the details, but I do remember him coming to our house to see me for a couple minutes one day. And I never forget telling him, like, hey, Dad, I'm just a 14-year-old kid. I wasn't raised with him. So, I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come live with you. And I did. And I went to go live with him, and that was cool for a little bit. And I guess my thing was, as me being 14-year-old kid, I just remember my dad telling me he had all my Christmas gifts in a closet, and he was saving them. And I'll never forget when that Christmas came around, he gave me $20. I'll never forget this. He gave me $20, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand. I was like, well, where's all these gifts for all my life? I thought it was gonna be a freaking smorgasbord. I thought a dump truck was coming to drop off gifts in front of the house. You know what I mean? Well, it turns out it was all bullshit. Um, and I remember my brother getting mad gifts, and I couldn't understand. Remember, y'all, I just told y'all, he had his mom. Well, I didn't realize his mom's the one who bought him all his gifts. Obviously, as he should have. And my dad hands me a 20. And I just remember being so hurt and broken. I think I told him that night I'm leaving here. And I remember he was mad. I just remember it being nighttime, and I was waiting for my sister to pick me up, and I just remember him opening the door and throwing all my fucking clothes in the street and slamming the door like I was a piece of shit. I never talked to him until my girl when I was that was when I was 14. I didn't see him again until I was 28 years old. My girl and my one homeboy surprised me. They had found him in Reading, Pennsylvania. They brought him to the house, and my girl lied to me, told me her brother's coming to visit from Puerto Rico, and it was my dad. And I'll be honest, yo, I was fucking pissed. I was fucking pissed. Like, why would y'all be bullshitting me? Why would y'all do that to me? I was so angry at everybody. But after that went away, I tried my best, and shout out to Dad. I gotta go see you soon. I gotta see him soon. It's still weird for me. I can't say I don't love my dad, but the thing is, it's hard to really love something 100% when it's not there, you know? And I didn't mean to get off track there, y'all, but, that's just my backstory. And my girl was raised by her mother and father, and there's a major difference in us, you know? She's very loving and caring, and she cares about people, and da 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 da. And that has nothing to do with your mother and father, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know. But me, I don't know, man. I'm just different. And the reason I bring up this topic is because like my mom is like the type of woman, she doesn't change tires. She's a woman, real girly with a little makeup and making sure she's, a little 120 pounds, like, old school stuff. You know what I mean? She's on that type of stuff, like a girly girl. So I was never taught how to like change no tires, check no oil. My family was very small. I had my grandmother, my uncle Freddie, my mother, my two sisters, and my auntie before she died, my grandmother's sister. That was the only family that I knew growing up. That was it, y'all. And obviously, I know my aunt from my father's side and my cousins, and But when I went to live with them, I was 14. Well, that's when I met them and got acquainted with them since I was a baby, which I didn't remember too much. You know what I mean? But still, even though it was like, I remember before I went to live with my father at 14, I just remember my uncle. I always looked older than I was. So I always had like facial, like little baby facial hair, shit like that. I just remember like, I was like, I don't know how to shave. And he was like, what? He couldn't even process it. I guess he forgot. Who's gonna teach me how to shave a goatee or something? What, my mom? No. Maybe moms do that, but my mom didn't do that. So it's like certain things like that. I feel like I kind of missed the bus. Now there's people out there like, oh, why don't you go, you know, bro? Not everything's as simple as people make it seem, and everybody's life is different. Sometimes in life, you gotta, you roll with them punches till you don't want to get hit no more. You know what I mean? And for me being a young kid, I was angry. I was angry at my dad. I definitely was. Like, how could you abandon your first child? At least that's what I felt. You know what I mean? But it's the little things in life, y'all. I think it's differences like that, like learning how to love properly, learning how to see your mother or father. You know what I mean? Because single parents work on both sides. Being loved properly by somebody else. I never saw that. My mom had one boyfriend. I never forget his name, Richard Green. Shout out to you, brother. If you're still alive, what's going on? I'll never forget you, bro. You were the most fatherly figure I've ever had in my life, bro. Ever. I remember him, and I'll give y'all his backstory. Richard murdered somebody at Peter Pope's in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, off 13th and Hanover. He shot and killed somebody outside of a bar. He had went to jail. He did his time. Don't ask me how my mom met him or got with him. That's a whole nother story. I guess I'll hear one day before she goes, hopefully. But a fucking murderer. It could have been self-defense. Could have been whatever, y'all. I'm not saying he cold-bloodedly killed somebody. I don't know the details, but I know that's what he did. The dude was so nice, y'all. I just remember him taking me under his wing. He had a son, but he was with my mom, so he felt the fact, to raise me, help me as best he could. And I never met a nicer dude, yo. You know what I mean? And I just want to give a shout out to all the stepfathers out there who step up when they don't have to, because I was one of them as well. But I think it's the little things like that, yo. Seeing your other parent loved properly, because when a single parent goes through another relationship, now that's a whole nother person, and people, I don't want to say they change per relationship, but it's kind of true. right? Depending on who you're dealing with, you maneuver which ways they like or don't like or whatever. So it is what it is. And my mom's one boyfriend, he didn't like me. I remember him kind of abusing me a little bit. I think he mushed my head in like cat litter, shit like that. I've been through a lot in my life, y'all. He was beating my mom. I remember coming out like 12 years old, and he had this fucking silver revolver in my mom's mouth. And let me tell you guys something, man. One thing as a parent, I never forget my mom's face as she was crying and screaming. As a kid, I couldn't do shit. I was so scared. My mother had a gun in her fucking mouth, and she turned her head and looked at me and tried to smile like it's gonna be okay with a fucking gun in her mouth. I never forget that stuff, y'all. You know what I mean? And I just remember, I know I'm totally off track with this shit, man, but this is the type of stuff that happens when I start talking about certain topics, y'all. Maybe this podcast is my own therapy, right? But I just remember I got to probably like 13 before I went to live with my sisters. I just remember I kept thinking I'm going to kill that guy. When I get strong enough, I'm going to kill him. This is I'm in a kid's mind thinking this. Like, I got to save my mom. That's all I could think, right? And I remember the day came, y'all. He said something to me. I wasn't beat no more. I think I might have been like, fuck you. Like, that was it. I told myself, if he's going to kill me, he's going to kill me today. He tried to hit me. I just never forget. I grabbed his arm, like in wrestling when somebody's about to get pinned, and then the spirit of life comes out of them, and their hand jams up, and then they triumph through. It was one of those. Like, I grabbed his hand and I threw this dude into a fucking dresser, like as hard as I could. I never forget the relief of just seeing him fly and slamming into it. Boom! And I was like, ooh, I didn't even know my own strength. It scared me. He never fucked with me again. But he also kicked us out. We went to a homeless abuse shelter in the middle of the rain. But that's a whole nother story. I'll talk about that one day. But I'm gonna make the car do a U-turn and go back to my topic. This is the type of shit that single parents have to go through in the kids of single parents. You know what I mean? Some people get blessed by God Himself. Some people, as soon as they leave the other parent, they find a perfect mate and shit sweet, man. But I never had that, y'all. I got a good friend of mine, my boy Streets, my boy Tyrell, man. Love the dude. I love his family, man. Great, great stand-up people, man. I love these people, man. They treat me like their own. But even when I talk to him and I see him and his dad interact, I don't know, man. It's just like I look at it and I always wonder myself, like, damn. He'd be like, hey, bro, you want to go fishing? I'm like, I don't really know how. Hey, bro, you ever go hunting? I never went fucking hunt. I never did shit that had to do anything like that. I just told you my mom was a girly girl. I never did nothing like that. I never did any manly shit when I was a kid. So guess where I learned how to do all that shit? In the fucking street. And guess what happened to me? Gang, jail, blah, 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 blah. I wish that Big Brothers and Big Sisters program was around when I was a kid. I wish I could have had more male mentors in my life. I'm 43 right now, and I still feel like there's certain things. I still, to this day, I feel like I'm missing certain things in life because of this situation. This is not about excuses. This is not about shit like that. This is just my perspective of how I see it, how I feel or felt. And my girl will tell you, I don't have many feelings. I'm colder than a fucking iceberg in Antarctica, y'all. And that's another problem I have. Does this boil back to the single double parent thing? Did I just not, like, do you feel in life you need to see that? To love properly? To give your heart to somebody properly? I was a latchkey kid. My mom worked 2, 3 jobs. I was always home by myself. Always, always home by myself. I just always think to myself, would it have been a lot better if dad was around? And maybe yeah, maybe hell no. You know what I mean? I'll never know that answer. But if you guys have thoughts and comments about being raised by a single parent to being raised by two parents, because I've heard horror stories too. There's people raised by both their parents. The dad's whooping the mom's ass anyway. So I guess they wish they had a single family home. You know what I mean? But I just see a lot of people with a lot of excellent relationships with their fathers and stuff like that. And it really, it makes me upset. And I'm not saying I don't have a relationship with my father. I do, to a certain extent. I don't hate my father. I hated him when I was young. I was mad. You know what I mean? Yeah, y'all. That's just a topic I wanted to talk about today. If you have any experience with either side and you'd like to you know, jump off what I said and leave a comment, or you have your own experiences, please go over to youtube.com and type in A Director Hitman Film. My channel will pop up. It's all like yellow themed, so you'll see like a yellow logo, yellow backdrop, whatever. Just go to my channel and click on podcast and leave your comments, y'all. I definitely want to hear other people's opinion because this is something that's literally troubled me for my whole life, y'all. And me and my girl literally, I don't want to say we've had arguments about it, but we bicker back and forth about this. I'm like, baby, your perspective's different from mine because you were raised with two parents. Like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. I don't know, y'all. I definitely don't know. But I'll be honest, if you're a mom or a father and you're not with the other parent anymore and you don't really have a strong relationship with your child, please go have that relationship. It's not always about money. Money doesn't equal love. That's what I say all the time. Money does not equal love, y'all. Love equals love. A hug equals love. A kiss equals love. A phone call, I love you, equals love, y'all. Not convenience. Not when I'm off work. Not when it's good for me, I'm going to be a parent or love. It's crazy out there, y'all. Yeah. I am Director Hitman, and this is Uncommon Grounds Podcast, episode number 5. I appreciate everybody who's been leaving me comments and giving me tips and pointers. I appreciate everybody, and I will keep these going. I can't wait till I get to when I get to another person, when I bring on guests. That's when it's really going to get cracking. You know what I mean? But for now, you just got to deal with my bullshit. But I'm going to get another setup soon, and I'll get the guest on soon. Yeah, yo, I think that's it. I don't even think I really even tapped into. I don't even think I even went into deep into single family or mother and father shit. But I skimmed the surface, I guess. Sorry, I didn't go too in depth. I got caught up in my own life, y'all. But hey, I think y'all like listening to that too. But once again, God bless everybody for listening. If you're not religious, don't take it that way. Just I want to make sure you're good to go for the rest of your day, week. And let's go. Uncommon Grounds Podcast.